Thank you everyone for joining us today from all around the world for our first ever virtual AI conference hosted by Octopus Digital. Octopus Digital is a part of Avancion Group of Companies. My name is Asim Iqbal and I'll be your moderator this afternoon. Before we proceed, please note the house rules for Q&As and interjections. If you have a question, please type your question in the Q&A section, then raise your hand. This will get the speaker's attention and he will revert to you as soon as possible. Furthermore, if you feel your question has not been answered or you think you have another question after the session has ended, you can always contact us at inquiries@octopusdtl.com. Let's formally open the AI conference. I would like to invite Mr. Asmar Atif, Chief Entrepreneur and Head of Octopus Digital. A little bit about Asmar. Asmar is an artificial intelligence technology solution strategist with an MBA specialization in breakout strategy from Imperial College London. He works at the intersection of business, technology, and regulation in the open innovation space. As Chief Entrepreneur of Business Technology at Octopus Digital, his role is to help C-suite transform their businesses digitally. His passion lies in helping businesses apply AI, improve bottom lines, and help communities create jobs in today's gig economy. Glad to have you today with us, Asmar. The virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Asim. Really appreciate that. Hi, everyone. On behalf of everyone here at Octopus and Avancion, I would like to thank all of you from connecting literally from all around the world. We are also live on YouTube and there are lots of participants joining in. Thank you very much. I would also like to welcome you on behalf of two gentlemen, and they are the ones that I owe much gratitude to for working together at Octopus. Firstly, it's Mr. Bakhtiar Wain, founder and CEO of Avancion Group of Companies, who has envisioned and curated the idea of Octopus Digital, all to help digitalize the industry with ethical AI. And second to none is Mr. Tanveer Karamat, our president, who brings extensive leadership experience and expertise of literally converting any dream into reality. Thank you very much, gentlemen, to both of you for your leadership and support. Our special guests today are actually our clients. I would like to especially thank Mr. Ghazanfar Siddiqui, who is the CEO at Yusuf Diwan Group, Distillery Business, and Mr. Adnan Javed Pirzada, General Manager at Diwan Group, for joining us today. They are the pioneers in digitalization of distillery business, and we will hear from them very soon. Before we proceed, I would like to share our vision of Octopus. In fact, our vision of the world that we want to build together with each one of you. We are creating a smarter and safer world using ethical AI and a single version of truth. My colleague Hassan is shortly going to be sharing our innovation that we are very proud of because it precisely fits into our vision, and thankful for because our client is here today to share their experience about it. I would like you to know a little bit about Hassan. Hassan has been a wonderful colleague. He is our head of tech strategy and design and brings over 12 years of experience working on industrial solutions and emerging digital technologies, especially industrial Internet of Things. He enjoys designing smart connected products and has led many large-scale projects across the Middle East and the US. Welcome, Hassan. The virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Asmar. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first ever AI web conference. My name is Hassan, and I want to open my talk with the buzzword Industry 4.0 that we hear every day. And we know that there is a paradigm shift from Industry 3.0 to 4.0, and it is causing a lot of changes. And among those changes, we know for a fact that there are computers, and computers are now everywhere, even on the clouds, of course, in the form of the cyber physical systems. But there's another major change, and that is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence it's about to be everywhere, and it is poised to transform everything. Why? Because artificial intelligence has the potential to replace the human beings, to replace the human mind. So what is the current AI message? Don't you actually hear this every day, that there is going to be a massive disruption? Yes, we do. And we hear that on the social media, on LinkedIn, everywhere, almost everywhere. And one other aspect is that we hear that it is very, very complex, but that's why we're here. We simplify it for you, and we make it easy to understand for you. And rightly so, because there are so many companies who are actually propagating this message around the world that it's very complex. But I would say that let's take a step back. 10 years ago, it wasn't probably imaginable for all of us that artificial intelligence is going to make this scale of changes in the industry. So it was simply unimaginable at that time. But what was our desire actually? We actually wanted information. We wanted to be able to analyze our data. We wanted analysis and analytics. But in reality, what we had was just data. So there were two main objectives, I would say. The objective was to get information in the form of prescription and prediction. But in the last 10 years, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, we saw that we just had data and a sea of data, all these zeros and ones you see on the screen, but making no sense. They do not tell us about the prediction of our systems. They don't talk about the prescription of our systems. So you all are familiar with all these terms, the SCADA and the routers and the networks, and there's so many machines that we interact with on our plant and the factory and industry. And what we want to do, that we want to capture their data, and rightly so, because we want to know that how they behave. And our natural response to metering everything is probably right. But actually then what we actually get, we get more data, and data on top of data, but still no prediction and no prescription, only data. As you see on the screen, the abundance of data is actually a problem, because the problem is that what do we do with this large scale data, with this huge and humongous data? What do we do? We know that historians can store data, right? But storage is really what we don't want. We want prediction and prescription. We want information. So how do we solve this data problem? Because this huge data has become a problem for the industry now. But actually the problem empowers the solution. We have humongous data. So that is why the new AI technologies, they're driven by the data and the analytics. And that is exactly what we do at Octopus Digital. We solve this data problem using artificial intelligence. And how do we resolve the problem? How do you resolve the problem actually? Excel has been our best buddy for years, no matter what industry we come from. We all love spreadsheets, don't you? But the actual question is that we don't want the data in the spreadsheet. We still want the same desire, and the desire is prediction and prescription. Of course, we don't want data, we want advice, and that is what we are looking for. And most of the time, we are actually spending time on managing that data. So too much of our time is spent on highly repetitive tasks in the reporting, and all those tasks are manual. So all of these tasks are manual and repetitive in nature. You're spending time on managing data instead of actually using the data. And because you might already be thinking that the legacy systems like the SCADAs, the PLCs, the historians, they can solve your data problem. But as a matter of fact, no, they cannot. These are the real data questions that we need to be asking. And these are the real data questions that open the doors for us that gives us the intelligence, the information, which is the prescription and the prediction. So at Octopus Digital, we actually want to shift the human focus towards the strategic activities, so it can be more useful. So we are using the artificial intelligence for the conversion of data into intelligence and prescription. But how do we actually do it? We know that businesses aren't really interested in these kind of complex data pictures. And we understand that they don't want it anymore. What they really want is, again, the intelligence. So to accomplish that, we use machine learning, and we implement machine learning rules like correlations you see on the screen. And we relate the actionable items from different data sources, and which are called the cost parameters. We use those cost parameters, and then we project the future values for them. We're also using clustering techniques, and these clustering techniques, they actually help us to combine data from different sources. So say, for example, we have data from the supply chain department, we have data from the PLC plant floor, we have data from a financial system or a process. So what we do is that we use the clustering techniques to combine all that data, and then we try to make some sense out of it by making predictions and prescriptions. And based on all these artificial intelligence related techniques, what we do is that we are able to infer the invisible features that are not actually seen by the end users. So what we do is that when we use these AI techniques, we are actually able to assess based on the historical data. We can then predict based on the historical data, and we use cluster and classification of different objects, which actually helps us to understand the operational efficiency. And we actually achieve this real-time self-learning prediction. So how do we actually how do we make ourselves able to predict in real time? So this is how we do it. What we do is that we create a digital twin of your system. So say, for example, you have a specific area, a business section, or a machine. What we do is that we make a digital twin of that in the cloud, and when there is a digital twin created, it is able to actually share the data. And that is the beauty of it, because when the digital twins start sharing their data, we are in a form to implement the artificial intelligence and the machine learning rules on it. So when we do that, there is a model that is formed, and that model starts giving us the predicted values. But that is not enough, because when the model is in its infant stages, it is possible that there are some variations. Say, for example, we observe, because we keep on observing the real values also. And when we see that there is a delta or there is some variation between the predicted values from our system and from our software and then the observed values, we use mathematical equations to feed that data or propagate all those changes back to the model. So that is called the maturity of the model. And this is a live, real-time going on system. So software is actually predicting and self-learning all these things in real time. Our software is actually it's a user story driven model. So what we do is that we basically categorize the data we receive from the system or a machine. What we do is that we implement the business rules on it. And when we implement the business rules, we essentially have two different two categories of that data. One is called the effect data, and one is called the cause data. So the causes are actually bringing in the effects. So we feed those cause and effect data into the cause pattern learner modules and effect pattern learner modules. These are the AI modules which are then sharing their data to form a model. And that model basically forms up a knowledge base. That knowledge base is the mastermind. That is our software. And our software is now able to start giving you the effect predictions, which are the results, which is the information, which is the prediction you're looking for. But there is a hidden challenge here. And the challenge is human aspect of machines giving us advice. Because we now know from the past that the predicted values of a system are these. But for the future, we want to be able to impact that with the experts' advice. We don't want machines alone to decide the predicted and the prescriptive information. So this is our response rate. We must form some sort of a response towards the predicted values of the system. So that is where actually our data scientists and customer success managers, they team up and they support our customers. So it is paramount that the prescription must base on the advice of the experts. And when we actually combine the analysis with the business goals, that is when we get the real advice, and that is when we get the real prescription. So we believe that our software is the present and the future. You can get more information about our software by visiting our website, octopusttl.com, or you can also send us an email, because we'd like you to help lead the digitalization journey as quickly as possible. So if you have any particular questions regarding that, please let us know in the comment section, or just drop us an email. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. The email addresses are mentioned in the banner I'm shortly going to show you. And this is how our software works. It has 3 layers: an input layer, the software layer, which is actually a black box for you, because you really don't need to care about how everything is being done. We are doing it for you. We have made everything simplified for you. So we are doing all the heavy lifting for you. What you care about is only the output layer where you're getting the information. We're using neural networks, and we're using artificial neural networks also. 2 of the most favorite neural networks that we use are for our software. Those are neural Turing machines and recurrent neural networks, RNNs. This is a description of how we actually integrate intelligence by combining all these technologies. So we have machine learning, we have evidence-based reasoning, we have deep learning, and then we use the correlations with business goals combined with the data analytics from the past data we do. And then our software, the knowledge center, the hub, what it gives us out is the decision making, the problem solving, the predictions, and the prescriptions, of course. So all this sophisticated software, this at minimum, if you implement the software, what you get is that you get troubleshooting advice, you get process optimization, you get machine diagnostics, you get equipment failures and overall equipment efficiency, you get the assets and workflows management, and of course, not to forget cybersecurity. So when we talk about the evolution in the industry and artificial intelligence for the manufacturing industry, there was a dire need to change the business model also, because alongside the industrial AI revolution, such as our software, the need was evident. I mean, the business model needed to be changed. So what we are doing is that, because the reason behind it is that now everything is offered as a service. So be it servers, be it network storage devices, be it network devices, be anything, you name it, everything is now offered as SaaS. And it essentially also reduced the time, material, and cost. So at Octopus, we have adopted a subscription-based model, and it's more like a pay-as-you-go model. Now, if you look at it, the first 3 things you see in the ladder, the technology, application, service, all these 3 things, these are already being provided by the system integrators. What we are doing is that we want to lead you towards the journey for a connected enterprise, then to a digital enterprise, and then to the optimized enterprise, which is your final goal. So, and we are doing all of this while maintaining a reduced time, material, and cost impact. So our software is actually, it has the breakneck speed and accuracy. So as I was talking about reduction in the time, overall time, you can see that the traditional project, they used to take about time in the months, but now we have reduced it to days literally. So why? Because our software is actually, it's totally agnostic. The mode of deployment could be hybrid or totally on the cloud. And the mode of development, it could be multi-cloud. You could connect to Azure, you can connect to any other cloud of your choice. And it's totally open source. And imagine that if there is no CIMIN. Yes, because when you implement software, there are no computers. We don't hand out any databases to you. And because there are no more computers required, and no more storage devices or complex networking material is required anymore. So there is no CIMIN, and it has essentially made the historians a thing of past. So why? Because it is now, the software is now capable to receive the analytics, to do the analytics and provide and share the information on any device, anytime, anywhere. So yes, we replace the historian. These are some of the screens from our software, but I would not like to talk much about the success of our software. Would like our special guest from our customers team where this software is running, would like them to talk about the success of software for them. I'll shortly invite them for that. And now, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Before we open the house for questions, I would now like to invite our special guest, Mr. Adnan Javed Pirzada. He's the general manager for the Divan Distilleries. We'd like him to deliver his keynote and tell us a little bit about how the software has actually changed the game for them at their business. Mr. Pirzada and his organization, Yusuf Divan Group, led by its CEO, Mr. Ghazanfar. They are the pioneers in envisioning a fully digitalized distillery operations. And thankfully, they have given us the opportunity to help them with this journey of digitalization and to achieve their objectives. And without wasting any more time, I would now hand it over to Mr. Adnan Javed Pirzada. So welcome, Adnan.
Thank you very much, Hassan, and everyone at Octopus at Avancion for inviting me today and giving me the opportunity to speak about the software. I can recall when we had our first meeting with Octopus team a while back, these guys presented a lot of exciting and new stuff and many new concepts and business models. Some of them were quite unique for us and our business, and I would really like to appreciate the Octopus team for their collaborative and flexible approach that has helped us to pioneer end-to-end digitalization of our distillery operations. Today, we are reaping the fruits of digitalization in two ways. Our distillery business, with parts of its utilities, productions, and supply chain, has been fully digitalized. However, we understand that digitalization is not a project or an event, but it is a journey. And we have taken significant steps towards full end-to-end digitalized operations and reporting. Software has been giving us unprecedented critical information and analytics that have revolutionized the way we have been managing our production and supply chain earlier. The most exciting thing for me as a general manager are the productions, costs, profits, and breakdown analytics that have helped me predict multiple futures and manage my supply chain, savings, costs, and reducing the overheads. Our plan is not to stop here. Our vision is to grow and to grow fully digitalized and to be a showcase for our industry around the world and to be a source of envy. We really look forward to continue working with Octopus team to undertake next steps in our journey and connect all other systems and facilities of our business to create, as Mr. Asmar earlier mentioned, a single vision of truth for our whole business. I receive multiple analytics from Topware every day, but I would just like to show you a single one as an example here, utilities and its current performance and future predictions. So here you go. Here I am going to show you this thing, and please note that the data is arbitrary, but the analytics work perfectly for me as I'm going to show you. So here you go. I'm going to show you this utilities on our main dashboard. So here it is taking a little bit of time. So this is how it is just taking a while. So this is how I see the current performance of my utilities, and it tells me on real-time basis the future predicted losses in cooling water and steam-based system on the current regime. This helps me actually to fine-tune the process for maximum optimization of the parameters. And this is just one case scenario out of so many options which I have at the system. And we can also improve our operation on the basis of this, and improve on our bottom line as well. So this is it from my side, and I would like to thank everyone, and Hassan and Team Octopus once again for giving me this opportunity to express my views. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pirzada. We look forward to continue working with you in the future also. It's time for me to now invite my colleague Adil Khalid. Adil heads our aftermarket support business globally, and I would request him to tell us a little about how aftermarket support services complement the digital journey for a customer. So over to you, Adil.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Welcome everyone to this our very first webinar on the subject. Thank you so much, Adnan, for sharing your experience with us and the audience. I'm sure it's a very valuable experience that we hold really high. Well, with regards to the upkeeping of such systems becomes most essential. And as we know that these next generation of business intelligence and analytics is not siloed in systems or dependent on just the fancy dashboards. The customers want the insights instantly, making it easier for them to see the change and, most importantly, take actions. So our aftermarket support complements that delivery of insights using our cloud-native and AI-powered Topware to present data in a way that lets even the non-IT, OT professionals gain insight and take actions. To back up the digitalization, we complement it with a comprehensive range of next generation aftermarket services focused around the preventive, the predictive, and the corrective maintenance supports. And all of that is AR and VR plus the remote connectivity capable. So our guardianship program, it also includes the tailor-made maintenance and training contracts that just fit the needs of our customers in order to maximize the plant's life and avoid overrun costs. Our teams of dedicated experts, they provide complete lifecycle support for our critical investments.
Thank you very much, Adil. Very nice to hear from you. And
My pleasure.
Sure many people would be interested in the total guardianship program that you discussed about. It's now time for our second panelist, Mr. Imran Ashraf. Imran is our head of the cloud solutions and the R&D department at Octopus Digital. Welcome, Imran. I would just like you to talk a little bit about how artificial intelligence and the open innovation, how both these are actually how can we use both of these to help our customers? So your comments on it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan. My biggest learning in the last year is that to learn new things, the first thing is to unlearn. This is the ideal way of going for a new and optimized way of doing things. There are several reasons for the recent popularity of industrial AI. Today, we have more affordable sensors with an automated process of data acquisition. Today, we have more powerful computation, capability of cloud with which we can perform even more complex tasks related to machine learning and modeling. This can be achieved at a breakneck speed with the lower costs. So we have now all the things available. Moreover, the cloud computing has offered such a faster connectivity infrastructure and much more accessible services that is exactly what we provide at Octopus for data management, for computing, analytics for predictions and prescriptions. And now these all services are available in the market, which fastens our cloud computing process. Now, however, based on my experience, I would like to emphasize that technology alone never creates any business value if the problems in the industry are not well studied, not well understood, and not well addressed. That's why we call it a journey and not a project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Imran. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in to know more about the kind and type of the technologies that you are using to create that magic through artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'll come to that later. But now it's time for me to open the house for the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, you can post your questions on the comment section below, and would be happy to answer those questions. So I'm just scrolling down the questions. The first question in the Q&A section is talking about the user experience from the client's perspective. And I think Mr. Anand Pirzada, our special guest, he's the right person to answer that question. So I would request one more time, Mr. Pirzada, if you could please describe a little bit about how was the user experience at your end when you were or your team was working with the software. So tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you very much. From a user perspective, yes, it has helped me to analyze the data because the data was already previously was there. The operation was in progress, but there was no analytics to perform. We could not predict or we could not take any precautionary measures or steps before. But now with the help of this analytics, we can analyze that data. We can predict something for future and take precautionary steps to avoid losses and to maximize the output and optimize the parameters as well. Because process optimization is a very key aspect. And this digital and these analytics have actually helped us to optimize. And secondly, it has enabled me to remotely monitor my system, and it has provided me a flexibility in my decision making and monitoring of the system. And it has given me a confidence as well that I'm connected with my system, and there are many aspects. And as it is very new, we are hopeful that in future we will be able to utilize more and more benefits from this system and analytics of the system. Thank you.
So, Hassan, your mic is mute, I think. So I can take a little bit of questions.
Thank you very much, Asmar. Thank you very much, Asmar. I was just scrolling down the questions, and I think that will take a couple of more questions. And but of course, we'd be very happy to assist you after this webinar also. So please get in touch with us. You have all the contact information on the banner. And now taking question number 2. And Asmar, I think I would direct this question to you because so someone is asking that what is the future that you envision when we are talking about all these AI related technologies, and when we talk about our software being implemented everywhere around the industry. So what is your vision? How do you see it happening?
I think, as they say, after the client has spoken, I don't think there is anything for me to mention about Topware. So thank you very much, Mr. Pirzada, once again. We are really humbled and we are very excited and thrilled also to take the next steps in your journey. So thank you very much once again. Taking into the question of our vision and future direction, and I also see a couple of questions also coming in that what kind of tools do we use for analytics and what kind of platform do we use? So I'll just try and combine all these things shortly. The future, the vision is for Octopus that we will grow as a fully digitalized AI company that is creating a better and safer world. So that's our overarching vision. How, in terms of the technology and in terms of the platform, in terms of the architecture, I'll just say that the innovation that we have achieved, that Hassan showed you, that we call Topware, is totally agnostic to any technology, any platform, any architecture, any industry. It could be a manufacturing industry where Mr. Pirzada has come from. It could be a banking industry. It could be any industry that's generating data. And you know, every industry generates data. So, so it is totally agnostic to that. In terms of what platform are we using, we are using cloud, but it can be any deployment model, whether it is hybrid or totally on cloud. It can be single cloud or multi-cloud. It could be, the platform could be Microsoft, Amazon, Google, or any other database that you have. So, I mean, we can talk a lot about it at the backstage. So we would really encourage you to contact us at the backstage. Our contacts will going to be posted soon on the last slide. So in the end, I would just like to say that we want to help the industry take the next steps in the same way that we revolutionized, in fact, the industry 30 years ago when we started Avancion. And with Octopus, we want to digitalize the industry. And in the end, I'll just give a closing remark by saying, by actually dismissing a myth that sometimes we hear a lot, which is that artificial intelligence is 90% technology and 10% human. That's actually a misnomer. Artificial intelligence is actually 90% human and 10% technology. And that's the right mix that we want to build our business on. That's our vision. Thank you very much, everyone, once again. And thank you very much, Hassan.
Thank you very much, Asmar. Beautiful insight. Thank you so much. I'm going to take question number 3 now. And our vision of aftermarket support and its impact on in regards to artificial intelligence. Adil, I think it is for you. What do you think is your vision if when we are talking about Topware, we're talking about the artificial intelligence making massive changes and causing us to, you know, do this and do that. So what is your vision in lieu of all these technologies for aftermarket support for our customers?
Well, our vision is absolutely straightforward. And our vision is to ensure that we remain as relevant, as dependable, and as reliable towards our customers who subscribe to our digitalization services and expect us to be on our toes, be there when they need us, and ensure that the services are always up and running to the ideal level of their experience they would like to achieve. So that's particularly our vision. We want to carry on with how we have evolved over the years in terms of becoming, the go-to team for our customers. And ultimately, we'll also not just only service, but we'll help improve what we will create through empowering these solutions, and additionally with our service portfolios. So yes, our vision is very clear. We want to be there, right there where our customers are, and we'll make sure that our digitalization solutions are their favorite, and for years to come.
Well said, Adi. And that's why all of us are here. And there is another question number 4, that would be, and this is about what are the different technologies and what are the different tools that we are using for the implementation of our software at Octopus Digital. I think, Imran, you're the right person to answer that. So what kind of tools and technologies are we using for our software?
Well, as Mr. Asmar said, that the software, we designed the software so that it can talk to any kind of hardware or any kind of underlying CSPs. The CSP is cloud solution provider. So our design lies on the top of all these things, so that we can focus rather than dealing with connectivity issues. We focus more on the deliverables, the insights that this software can extract from the lots of data and transform into information to come up with an insights and predictions. So this basically is technology independent, but still it works with any kind of CSP, any kind of cloud solution. So it focuses more on the deliverables. As far as technology is concerned, yes, we have ML Studio, we have different kind of algorithms like a tree-based algorithm, decision-making algorithms, which are used for, which are specifically designed to predict the quality of the production. So we use different combination of algorithms to come up with the good predictions probability, and we make use of hybrid use of different algorithms.
Well said, Imran. Now it's time for me to say thank you one more time to everybody who joined in today. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate for your time. Thank you very much one more time. And we look forward to getting in touch with you on the backstage, of course. And I would now hand it back over to our moderator, Asim. So Asim, back to you.
Thank you, Hassan. So this was a wonderful session. This formally concludes our first ever AI conference. On behalf of Octopus Digital and Invention Group of Companies, we would like to thank everyone for their participation. We would especially like to extend our gratitude to Mr. Ghazanfar and Mr. Adnan Javed Pirzada for taking the time. We hope it was an informative session for everyone. As you can see on the screen, we have all the information over there. To find out more about Octopus Digital, kindly visit us at octopusdtl.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn by searching for Octopus Digital Limited. If you want to know more about our software and our successes, you're welcome to contact us via any way mentioned on the contact us slide. Thank you everyone once again. Stay safe, and we hope to hear from you soon.